Okay, I'm going to assume that this live stream is going up, but it's Friday. I don't normally do these on Friday. I didn't do one yesterday. I put up a couple of posts on the community post, which I'm also going to talk about in just a minute. But I just had to mention these few things. Number one, title of the video. We are being lied to across the board about everything, everywhere. Everybody knows that. Some examples. The DOJ and the FBI on the Jack Teixeira case. Remember, he's the guy who supposedly leaked all this information about how the war in Ukraine is going, et cetera, et cetera. And he's a patsy, as I said before. He's been set up by somebody else. I just listened to Judge Napolitano with his guest, Larry McDonald. You can go and listen to it. And Larry McDonald talks about something that he wrote. I didn't look at the weapons that closely that the FBI said they found in Jack Teixeira's bedroom. Larry McDonald did. And they're airsoft weapons. The guy is a kid who goes and plays airsoft. The supposed gas mask that he had, protective mask, is used by airsoft people so they don't get shot in the face. So in other words, when the DOJ and the FBI went into the judge on Jack Teixeira's case, they presented as evidence that he was hoarding weapons, trying to intimate that he is going to cause some problem. First of all, it's not illegal to own the weapons, even if they were real. But then they took these weapons, which are toys, airsoft guns, and told the judge that they were that they were actually military weapons, that it's an arsenal, a cache, and that he's getting ready, intimating that he's getting ready to do something. The lies coming out of the DOJ and the FBI are gigantic. I don't know what else to call them. Gargantuan. And they never stop. This kid could be in trouble for mishandling classified information. But he should not be denied bail based on what the DOJ has presented with his supposed weapons. And even if they were legal, what does that mean? Or even if he had real weapons, what would that mean? He could own them legally. Number two, how do they prove that he had any intention to commit espionage? Mishandling classified information is as far as it can go. No, something else is going on here. As many of us have said, he's a patsy. He's been set up by whomever, and it's unjust. That was number one. Number two, what's happening on our border? Back in 2011, if you go to this channel and go to my playlists and go to films and documentaries, I'm not going to put the link in the description box because of some other reasons. But you can go and look at my post, my video, my documentary called Borders, Mexican Drug War or Insurgency. I put that out in 2011, and I called for then that the military should be on the border. That's not a violation of Posse Comitatus for them to protect the border. It is not. And I saw from another person on Twitter today that apparently Representative Paul Gosar had called on for the military to be on the border and militarized to prevent all of this from happening. And I mentioned that in 2011. Okay, you can go see it. Again, it's in my playlists, films and documentaries, and I've been calling this out for years. Okay, I saw what needed to be done. The barrier's not enough. You can't have a barrier unless you have constant visual on all parts of it. In other words, that it's being monitored. So the whole thing, even the building of the wall by Trump was a nonsense idea. But I mean, he's the chosen one. What he says goes. Third thing. The situation in Ukraine is absolutely crazy. I do think that the Russians are basically sitting back and allowing the Ukrainians to just, and NATO for that matter, to totally spend themselves. In other words, our side, I'm just using that so you know who I'm talking about, the United States and NATO, thought that they could sanction Russia out of existence, basically Balkanize it, put it into pieces, and that they could expend them militarily and get Putin out. And all of that is coming back here. All of it. So I felt like I needed to come on and just talk about those few things here for right now. Nothing long. I don't want to take up a whole lot of time today. I've got some other things I have to do. But all they have coming out of the federal government and many of the states are lies. Look at Washington State, what they just did. Not just trying to ban semi-automatic rifles, weapons, but also signing into law by the governor Inslee there that they can take your kids away from you if first of all, they don't have to tell you if they're going to alter them, but if you fight against that, they can charge you with a crime. Do you see where all of this is going? And that last one leads me into my last point. I posted some things on Twitter today about this new CEO. When I first posted it, I didn't know if this lady who they were talking about from the WEF was really going to get it. But then Elon Musk came out and confirmed it. I'm not going to even say her name here. I couldn't believe it. It's like Trump doing the same thing all over again by bringing the swamp in to fix the government, right? Fix the White House and all that. Personnel is policy. And I saw people say, well, Trump may not know how to play 4D chess, but Elon Musk does, so it'll be okay. The other day I said I'm going to give Elon Musk a chance and I'm going to give Tucker Carlson a chance. Well, right now, Elon Musk is on my shit list. There were lots of other people he could have called to take over that position as CEO of Twitter, and he chose this lady who's part of the WEF and who was going along with all the stuff of the last 2.5 years completely. So, when I was talking about Elon Musk, I was hoping that maybe, everybody has a dark side. We all do. And anybody who says that they don't have a dark side, they're either off in la la land or they're lying to you. Not that they have to tell you. I'm certainly not going to tell you all of my dark side, right? That's none of your business, right? But, as many of you recall, last Halloween, it may have actually been the one before that, but I think it was this last one, Elon Musk wore a red armored suit with all kinds of occultic symbols on it. One of my followers on Twitter sent me a picture that Elon Musk uses that as his Twitter picture now, one of them. And it is in a red armor with a Baphomet on the chest insignia with an upside down cross on it. Now, is this just a joke? Is he just making fun of things? Is he substituting, again, like the evil ones do, taking God's principles and inverting them and twisting them? He has armor on. You've heard of the armor of God? But this is a red armor suit with the Baphomet and the cross on it. I started putting some things together here. If you go here on the channel, I had to explain this to somebody. Listen very carefully. I post to YouTube, but they're posts. For those of you who follow me, who are subscribers to my channel, these posts that I put up, which are not videos, but posts, I can sometimes include videos in there, but these are posts that I put up, kind of like I do with Twitter. If something's really important and I can't make a video or I don't have time or I don't want to, I'll throw it on Twitter. That's why I say you can follow me on Twitter, @Royston Potter. I've told you that many, many times. Now I'm going to tell you again, pay attention, that if you look above, underneath the picture for my channel, when you bring up my home page, across the bottom of that will be these different categories: home, videos, shorts, live, community, about. If you subscribe to me, those posts that I put on the community tab will show up in your feed for YouTube. All right? But if you don't follow me and you want to see what I'm saying, which I do quite often, several times a week, go to the community tab on that line I just described to you and click on the word community. Those posts that I put up there will come down for you to peruse. This last one I did is an explanation of what Elon Musk is doing, in my estimation. I'm not going to explain it all here. It's bad enough I put it on my community posts. It could be controversial for YouTube even there. But this is what I will say. You know how I've talked about how traditional Christianity has twisted the idea of the man-woman relationship, and they've gotten into some, and I know people don't want to hear this. I just saw another post this morning from a very good Catholic lady that I have a lot of respect for, trying to narrowly define these relationships into some type of a marriage for good. And I'm not saying that's not the best way to go, because it is, but there are other ways to deal with this man-woman relationship. I'm not talking about relationships that's being the type that are being pushed today by all these different government agencies and institutions. Those are definitely out. Those are out of the natural order, and you know I've said that. But I'm very concerned with the idea that people have twisted the real purpose of the male-female relationship, man-woman relationship. And they'll even take psychiatrists and all those. I'm not saying they're totally wrong, but they'll actually take those things and say that they're psychological concepts, you know, the male being the strong warrior type thing, and the female being the receptor, and that there could be this narcissism going on there on both sides, you know, toxicity, all this stuff. Okay, those are all psychological principles. Let's get into the real world. The real world is there are men and women. You could pretend to be something else, but how are you going to change your DNA? Well, they're working on that, right? But one of the things that I've been very harsh on is the idea that the man-woman relationship, the intimate part of it, can only be done for procreation. That's entirely wrong. I've talked about it many, many times. Go to my religion series if you want to. That is what the fallen angels used it for. It says in Genesis, they saw the daughters of men that they were fair, and took wives of whom they chose. Wives mean they're going to become the mothers of their children. Now, in some of the other books you can read, like the book of Enoch, when these angels do this, God and his representatives say, hey, if we had wanted you to have wives, you know, you're supposed to be up here doing this thing. If we wanted you to have wives, in other words, not that they wouldn't have female companions, but that they would procreate, I would have given you some. But for you to leave this estate and go down there and do this, that's violated the natural order between our lofty worlds and the fallen condition of these people. You've stepped out of bounds. You're now going to be subject to judgment. But you see what they were after. There's more to the man-woman relationship. You know, in the animal kingdom, and I explain this in the post, people say, oh, you know, sex between man and woman, that's animalistic. That's lust. You got to get away from that. You know, it can only be immaculately done. They've got it exactly backwards. In the animal kingdom, that drive is instinct. There's not passion. There's not love. It's the animal kingdom that has sex only for procreation. That's not us. And it says so in Genesis, as I pointed out exhaustively. If you believe that. But if you don't believe that, look at the Bhagavad Gita. If you want to go there, Hinduism, that's fine. Go look at that. See how they look at it. See how they view it. I'm not going to get into that deep. But why did this come up with Elon Musk? Because my point is that the fruit of the man-woman relationship is just that, the fruit, the children. But it's not the primary purpose. It's the result of what should happen between a man and a woman. However you want to do it. Marriage, concubinage, I don't care. Contract relationship, whatever. The point is, God expects responsibility. I'm not going to go into it any deeper than that, other than to say this. What got me on Elon Musk this time was not just this lady from the WEF that he's now said is going to be the CEO of Twitter, which is a violation of everything that he's said so far about how free it's going to be and how wonderful. And not only that, but I saw Last Refuge on Twitter point out that the DHS has a backdoor into all the things Twitter. And that really, Elon Musk hasn't even addressed that. And now this lady from the WEF is going to be in there. How much more access will she give these government agencies? So, I saw all this happening with Elon Musk, and then I remembered that in an interview that he gave some time ago, a few weeks back, he was saying that sex is only for procreation, that any other reason is not justified. Do you realize that that's exactly contrary to Genesis? Do you realize that he's saying that you are animals and that you can't have those relationships because of your love, your passion, your commitment, your wanting intimacy, warmth? No. You can only do it like an animal does it, out of instinct to procreate. That's devilish, ladies and gentlemen, as I've just pointed out in this long explanation. So what he has on his chest is Baphomet, who these people worship as the androgynous god, and that's what you should really be, as androgynous. Go look it up if you don't know what it means. And an upside down cross. I wouldn't even do that. And I have a lot of suspicions about the New Testament and how it came about. As most of you know who have followed me. So in other words, what he's pushing is, with that statement that he made and this outfit that he wore, and now this lady from the WEF, all this is coagulating into a point where he's going to lead you down this road. I could give you a lot of other historical information, both out of the Talmud and out of the church fathers from the Christian side of things, especially Catholic. All this stuff, I could put all this together and show you, as I've really done before, that the purpose of this is to, when they say as above, so below, even though that's in Jesus' prayer, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven, same thing. But they do it from the point of view of the position of the created angels, not the begotten sons and daughters. They want all of you, because that's like God. They don't want any of you to partake in that, and they will destroy the man-woman relationship, which now Elon Musk has supported. Sex is only for procreation. Animals only do it for procreation. There is one that doesn't, that they know of. That's the dolphin. The dolphin does do it for relationship, sealing relationships. Let's put it that way. For pleasure even. Sarah said, if you read the Bible, when Abraham had God come to him and his two messengers, and God says to Abraham, if you believe this stuff, I'm not saying you have to, okay? Well, Sarah's going to conceive and have a son. And she laughed. And then God says to Abraham, why is she laughing? And Sarah says, oh, am I really going to have pleasure again with the outcome of a child? God says, you're going to have to call that child that she's going to have, he laughs, Yitzhak. She laughs, rather. Yitzhak. That's what Isaac means. She laughs. He laughs even. Okay. I'm not going to go into it any further than that. I'm just going to say that they're really pushing this idea of test tube babies in the long run to destroy the relationship between men and women, really destroying women. And I point out also in this article that I wrote on the community posts about the song from the 1960s that's in the year 2525. And you can look it up, first see my post on the community posts above, and then go listen to the song 2525 on YouTube or wherever else you can find it. And think about what I'm telling you now and what Elon Musk is in on the program. I'm convinced of it at this point, just like I believe that Trump is. Trump, by the way, I found out this morning, Michael Tracy, who's an independent journalist, I follow him because he's got some good intel. This same lady that Elon Musk is now making the CEO of Twitter, Trump identified as someone he's going to put into his administration when he wins the election in 2024. If he wins the election in 2024. Of course, he's saying he is. The same lady he chose to be in his administration. He has learned nothing, or he is a complicit conspirator. That's all I got for you today. I'm going to go have lunch. I think as it is right now, I'm going to make this announcement. I think as it is right now on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, I'm planning on having a live stream call-in show, and we'll probably take some chat too. On what? As I promised on this. People who have bought the book want to ask me questions and go through some of the, go through the issues. I'm not going to talk about what it's like to be in that relationship. That's not the issue that we're going to talk about. And I'll set the parameters for that at the beginning of the show on Tuesday afternoon or evening. What we're going to talk about is what I talk about here so much, and that is government control of your life and what they will go to, even lying about this Jack Teixeira guy saying those airsoft guns were real weapons, which he could have owned if they were anyway, but they're trying to paint a picture. There's no justice. There's only lies and subterfuge, even in a federal court, by those who are supposed to have taken an oath. Fidelity, bravery, and integrity. Gag me. So Tuesday is when I'm planning on doing it. Walter especially wanted to get a heads up when I'm going to do it. So that's my plan. Tuesday afternoon, evening, I don't know about the exact time. I don't really want to walk over anybody else. I've noticed that Monty is starting to post earlier, and of course there's Felicia Lockhart, and then of course Jackson Hinkle comes on fairly. He usually waits until about 9, but I'm going to do it this Tuesday regardless. Okay, so we'll have that discussion. And by the way, I have to show you something. Let me get this. There'll be more information, more examples on the Tuesday show, but no, I don't buy anything Anheuser-Busch anymore. Jack Daniels, Nike, no, and you all should know why. So here is what we've got now. I'm buying the local breweries here in the Salt Lake and Western Wyoming area. This is from Red Rock Distilleries, well, not distilleries, Red Rock Brewery. This is an Imperial Red Ale. It's pretty potent, 9%. But I'm showing you this because if I have beer, and it's not often that I do because it bloats me up too much, it's going to be local breweries. No more of these, okay? And of course, Nike shoes are out, and any other things like that that I find. And all of you should know what I'm talking about. These local breweries, there are a lot of them actually. The biggest ones are Red Rock, Wasatch, Uinta, and Squatters. But I'll have another beer on Tuesday that I'll show you from Wasatch Brewery that might be of interest to you. That'll kind of go along with the subject matter on Tuesday afternoon or evening when we do this. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I got for you today. Look at what I just told you, the information there, how terrible this is. We're being invaded. I wish I could say more, but it's not just from south of the border. That's not just it. It's in all of our institutions. The Frankfurt School, Fabian Socialism, cultural Marxism. It's to destroy the natural order. They say that we have the social construct with these man-woman relationships. No, they are forming a social construct that defies nature, and that's what Baphomet does. You could say Moloch too. Talk about the taking children out of their moms when they're little, before they grow up, all that. That's Moloch. It's all the same thing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I got for you. Go listen to Andrew Napolitano when he's talking to Larry McDonald, who was a former CIA analyst. Talk about the situation with Jack Teixeira and that the FBI and the DOJ lied, saying these were real weapons, and even if they were, there's nothing wrong with that. But that's the extent that they will go. Call airsoft weapons, airsoft toys, real weapons to take down the government, just like the insurrectionists from January 6th that had no weapons. Right? All lies. Look at what he says, and then also go to my community posts. As I just explained, below the picture, and I'm talking about the big picture with me, you'll see me out on the water. That's the Caribbean Sea there that I'm on a cruise ship. Look at that big picture there, and underneath it there'll be those categories: home, videos, shorts, live, community, about. You go to the community one, click on that, and you'll see the post on Elon Musk that I put up, which probably will give you a little more information. That's all I got for you today. Keep your eyes on the horizon, your ears to the ground. Situational awareness on high. Prep, pray, stay out of the way, defend yourselves, but don't go looking for trouble. We're going to see a lot of that. You know what happened to that Marine who was protecting all those people on the subway in New York from that I'll just say individual at this time, because got to be careful how you say things, right? He was protecting those other people, and this person that he had to take out, which I don't think he intended to do, but was a natural consequence of the struggle. That's the suspect's fault. That's the one who was doing the wrong things to other people. That's his fault, not this ex-Marine. You can't protect yourself anymore. Cernovich says, get out of blue towns and cities. They're going to do this everywhere, ladies and gentlemen. Do you see where this is going? That's all I got. Out here.